Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online 23rd Century Starfleet campaign. Now, I wasn't quite level 30, or rank 30, last time, but I have a very good reason. There's a sale going on in the store, in the C-store, and I got enough Zen to get the ship that I want. The only problem is, I can't claim it until I'm rank 50. So I've done a bit of leveling up off camera, and I got up to rank 30 where I get a new free ship. So I'll pick that up right now. And the captain ships are actually very interesting in Star Trek lore. The Galaxy class cruiser, or the exploration cruiser as they call it in this, is featured in Star Trek The Next Generation as Captain Jean-Luc Picard's ship. In this game it's a cruiser, as it says, and it's a pretty good ship overall. It turns a bit slow, but that's just cruisers. That's cruisers for you. The tactical escort is the Defiant class from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It was Captain Sisko's ship. And this was probably one of the first Starfleet vessels that was designed from the ground up to be an attack ship, rather than an exploration or science ship. And the Intrepid class science vessel is most famous in, I think, Star Trek Voyager was its first appearance. I could be wrong about that though. And it was the ship of Captain Janeway. Now, even though I'm a science character, I'm actually going to take the exploration cruiser. And we'll go with the USS Eastern. And we'll switch to that real quick. Now I'm surprised it didn't transfer our gear over, but we'll fix that. I need a new stabilized core, but here we are. And we'll go with the disruptor proof shield still. Most of this is actually pretty good, but I'm going to change some of the weapons. Now, even though these are equipped on different ships, I can just click on these and it'll transfer over. Actually, do I still have that quantum torpedo somewhere? Yes, I do. And that will be switched there. And there we go. I'm going to go with Skavron for this, although he needs another couple of powers. And then Tabin for that slot, and Temet, of course, for this one. I'll fix the abilities later, because I'm anxious to get going on our next mission, the Ultimate Klingon. And I'll fix all the powers and stuff on the way. And we will auto-navigate to the Corvat system. Okay. I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh yes, the reason why I ranked up to 30. That's pretty much the only reason why I did rank up to 30 as quick as I did. Is I want that ship at rank 50, but I can't claim it until I get to rank 50 on a Federation character. I got a couple of new powers for space as well, including Scattering Field, which is a very good defensive buff. It reduces the damage done to my hull. See, that goes up there, this comes down here, this also goes down here. Those I can get rid of. Yeah, that's the only thing I can complain about, really, getting a new ship, is having to redo the bar. But that's why I have this up. Okay, this I want here. There's usually a method to my madness that I have here. Okay, I've got everything I need. Oh yes, reverse shield polarity. That causes some incoming damage to heal my shields instead of damaging them, which is quite useful. At least in the beginning of the battle. Put my tactical team there. I don't have as many healing abilities as I thought. But yeah, in general, I like to keep my buffs up at the top row. And then I like to keep my basic heals in the middle row, although these should be switched. Because I like having my heals on my alt keys instead of my control keys. And my combat powers are at the bottom, so that way I just have to push a number. Now, what I have under number 5 here, Eject Warp Plasma, that's actually a really good attack power, but what it does is it creates a cloud of warp plasma behind the ship in combat, and you get more use out of it if you're in a faster ship, which I currently am not in. And the other one I have, Boarding Party, basically it launches 3 shuttles, and for each one that gets the target, there's a few effects that happen. It increases the current recharge timer of the target's weapons by 4 seconds, and there's a 50% chance that it increases a random recharge timer of one of their abilities by 4 seconds. And there's a 50% chance for that. This is for each shuttle, by the way. It disables a random subsystem on the target for X amount of seconds. Right now it's 6.3. Now this is going to be a bit of a long mission, so grab some popcorn and here we go. Oh, there's Gorn ships in the area. Now, here's where we get into the big differences between the ship classes. The cruisers, I think starting at this one actually, gets cruiser commands, which are these yellow icons down here. Launch my boarding party shuttles. The one I currently have active, it decreases the amount of energy that my weapons use by 25%, which is useful because it overall increases the amount of damage that my weapons do. Oh, and tractor beams are going to be really useful for cruisers, because it holds them in place, so that way I can attack an arc more effectively. Oh, and cruisers also generally have more weapon slots than any other type of ship. However, they're really slow. The second cruiser command basically increases the amount of damage your shields can take, as well as increases the rate in which they recharge. I'm not sure if it's the rate or the amount they recharge by, but it's one of those two things. Now, I'm using eject warp plasma, and if either of those ships should happen to fly into that cloud, they'll take damage and they'll be really slowed down. Which he just missed it, so that's unfortunate. Now, I never could find this station that they're talking about. I guess it's the thing that's behind the cloud now. Or it could be on the planet as well. Now, I haven't upgraded my crew's powers yet, so this could get interesting, because I don't know what they're equipped with yet. Klingon and Gorn life signs, as well as signs of disruptor fire. Now let's try to find Chirurgeon Patal. Now, I'm using the new phaser rifle that I got, which is one of my favorites, as I've mentioned before. And not just because it shoots a pink laser beam. Its secondary fire is kind of a concentrated attack, and it has an area of effect. It basically does 3 times 49.3 damage, and then an additional 49.3 in a small area of effect at the end. So it's quite useful. Oh, I'm gonna get hit by a grenade. There we go. Oh, thank you for whoever set those mines. Yeah, mines are exceptionally useful against Klingons because they like to rush you. It's not a sound military strategy, but it's one they have their hearts set on. Now, even if you can't get out of the area of effect of abilities, it's often a good idea to try to get as close to the edge away from it as possible. Because, in general, abilities do less damage the further you are away from the center of the area of effect. Now, I'm going to have to be a bit quick here. Because that doctor's in trouble. Now we have 35 seconds to save him. And good, they didn't go after me. So I saved him from suffocating inside that machine, and we get an accolade for that. That was pretty tricky to do at first. It didn't always work. Now that turret that was set up there can't shoot through walls. Unfortunately. However, those Gorn can throw rocks through walls. You're welcome. What kind of research did you do here?
I'm a research assistant for Chirurgeon Patrol. We've received special dispensation to use genetic modification to deal with age-related diseases and decrepitude.
I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't think that Starfleet would ever allow any genetic modification to be done. So what do the Klingons want here?
The Klingons have been keeping us all captive here and asking us about our research. Some of them think we're a secret program to make new augments. I think the Klingons were looking for something to make their own augmented soldiers, with disease resistance, pain tolerance, increased strength.
So, they're trying to make an ultimate Klingon, huh?
Augmentation involves rebuilding an individual's genetic characteristics to eliminate unwanted traits, or to enhance or splice in desirable ones. Usually this is done with resequencing, infecting the cells with a retrovirus that rewrites them to produce the new cell structures. Augmentation isn't without side effects, though. It often causes heightened emotion, and augments usually don't socialize well. Attempts to enhance intelligence often result in paranoia, psychopathy, or autism spectrum disorders.
And how would this affect Klingons?
I couldn't really say. I know that the Klingons experimented with stolen augmentation technology in the 22nd century, but they abandoned the studies after some sort of mishap. Chirurgeon Patrol could probably explain more.
And where is the Chirurgeon?
He's usually in the main lab. Follow the corridor past the cold storage and the gene samples. You can tell you're in the lab because there's a lowered section to provide space for the computer cores. Be careful. The Klingon captain is probably there.
Thank you, Doctor. Stay safe. I'll find the lab. Now we've got more Klingons and Gorn to fight. I'm seeing a lot more Gorn rather than Klingons. We've seen a couple, but... Ow. They got me pretty good with that. Now, even though you can put multiple of a status effect, like the tricorder scan on an enemy, I don't think they stack. I think it's the highest tier kind of takes effect, and then it'll go down to the lower tier if there's another effect still on it. There's a couple of Klingons. And there's the captain. we got a decent little weapon for it too. The split beam rifle. Alright, let's talk to the chirurgeon.
We are grateful for your assistance.
What kind of research do you do here? Although, we already know.
My particular field of study is gerontology, the study of aging in various life forms. The Federation Science Council has given me permission to test various forms of genetic modification to find treatments for degenerative diseases such as Irumodic syndrome. We're making significant progress.
I bet. So what did the Klingons want?
The Klingon commander wanted to know about genetic modification. He was asking about the augmentation process, but that's been outlawed since the eugenics wars on Earth in the 20th century. Khan Noonien Singh and his kind caused the deaths of millions.
Now, who was Khan Noonien Singh?
The humans were the first to experiment with augmentation back in the 20th century. Within a few years, the augmented supermen were fighting non-augments. The eugenics wars destroyed great swaths of the planet and caused some 30 million deaths. Earth was plunged into a dark age.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but anyway.
Singh was the greatest of the augmented conquerors. He was the ruler of more than a quarter of Earth. Unlike some of the other supermen, Khan only enslaved his people. He didn't massacre them. I guess that would make him the best of the tyrants.
I guess you could say that.
When the humans rose up against the augments, Khan and some of his people escaped into space. The crew of the USS Enterprise found them in suspended animation in 2267. Khan's battles against James T. Kirk are legendary. I've read an account of their fight in the Mutara Nebula, and it was thrilling.
Now, how would this augmentation affect Klingons?
Klingons' previous experiments with augmentation were disastrous, to say the least. In the 2150s, the Klingons attempted to use augment DNA to enhance their warriors. Those who didn't die from neural breakdown developed drastically altered personalities and physical changes that made them appear more human. Then, a strain of Lavodian flu interacted with the DNA, and what was a terrible experiment became a horrible epidemic.
And there you have it. That's why the Klingons looked the way they did back in the 23rd century. Because the Klingons tried to do this before, basically. But since they used a human variation of the augment DNA, they looked more human.
The spread of the augment virus threatened the Klingons with extinction. Eventually, a way to stop the damage was found. But the Klingon DNA profile was irrevocably altered. It took the Klingons decades to recover. To this day, those of us outside of the Empire aren't really sure how they did it.
Must have been some kind of miracle for the Klingons. Alright, what do you suggest we do next?
If the Klingons are doing augmentation research, you have to find out where they are doing this work and put a stop to it.
I agree. Oh, more Klingons on the way. Let's beam out. You may have to disable the IKS. I guess that's Duke. Oh, he's gonna do the same thing. I'm going to actually use this one, which is strategic maneuvering. But that doesn't look like it's going to affect us positively, so... Oh, by the way, the shuttles, they can, like enemy shuttles that they launch, can be affected by the cloud, as you saw there. But I don't think the enemy heavy torpedoes will be. We haven't run into heavy torpedoes yet, but oh, we will, trust me. It is not fun. They're good when you have them, but when the enemy has them, they're just a headache. Now, strategic maneuvering, as it says on the tin, helps with the maneuvering quite a lot. It increases your flight speed and your turn rate. And there's Well, let's scan the databanks first.
Do you think you can defeat Captain Earthlord and then slink away? You honorless Federation Batak! The crew of the Arcadius Sarbek shall have our vengeance!
Okay. They're using ramming speed, apparently. We don't really have to worry about that, though. And we got another accolade for that. Okay, so they need the biomimetic gel from the Corvette research facility, which we were just at. And they apparently have a location somewhere in Hatoria. Okay, so let's warp directly there. Now, we're going to be right in Klingon space, which is kind of dangerous because there tend to be a lot of Klingons in Klingon space. But I think with our new ship we can handle it. Okay, what are the boundaries of this nebula then? We're hiding in the interference for it, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna have to stick near where all of these little meteorites and wreckage pieces are. So yeah, this last thing here. You know what? I'll fight these birds of prey. It's more to do with if you're in a party or a fleet. Well, not a fleet, but basically when you're in space battle with other players on your team, your attacks will generate more threat than normal, and you have a bit more damage resistance. So it's generally not needed for solo play. Now we can beam down. In fact, we will. Nope, too bad. They were going to attack us. Okay, the lab is somewhat southwest of here. So let's keep an eye out for patrols. You know, like this one. Okay, I didn't need to activate that mode. Now, this planet has a special effect where these shadow areas, yeah, there we go, areas in the shade look icy and slippery. It's not too big of a deal if you fall off this path. Depending on where you fall off. kind of wish they had these environmental effects elsewhere as well. I think it's only used in one other part in this entire game. Which is a bit of a shame, because it's a neat little gimmick. Now, I have this number 4 power here, and basically... I'll get into a fight and then use it. Basically, it generates this area of effect, and anyone inside of it does less damage with energy weapons. Although they can easily walk out of the area of effect, which they generally do. It can help against bosses, but it's kind of useless in fights since the area is kind of small. I'm not going to bother with that loot crate. I'm just going to go into the research lab. Okay, so Amar Singh is both brilliant and unstable. So he's not going to be easy to catch. And this place isn't shielded, so he can just easily warp out of here. So we can bluff him. Although if he's brilliant, I don't think a bluff will work. We can entrap him. Basically, if he tries to transport out of here, or shuttle out of here, we can redirect him, or we can trick him. Again, he's brilliant. I don't think that'll work. So we're going to entrap him. Basically, when he tries to teleport out of here, he'll teleport right into the brig. Now, these augment-crazed Gorn won't even try to attack with energy weapons. So let's see what they've been working on. Okay, he's been infused with augment DNA. Now we're going to have a bit of a bigger fight here. Now I think these augment-crazed Gorn are a bit tougher. But they're also crazy, so they're just going to attack with their hands. Open this crate and get some shield charges. What I do with the shield charges and the hypos is I usually just give them to my bridge officers. Gorn body plus human augment DNA. No wonder he didn't survive. Okay, let's bypass the security field. No minigame evolved, just a simple tap on the computer. Now there is stuff in these side rooms, but I don't think we can get at them right now. Hello, Mr. Singh.
Starfleet officers coming here to stop me? You should thank me. Close, so very close this time. It was one quite right. Vulcans were too analytical. It has taken me hundreds of tries to get it right. This time I've got it. Combining several different species will create the perfect race. We will rule the galaxy.
Dr. Singh. Oh, he's gonna try to harvest our DNA. Now these particular Gorn are tough. Very tough. But not too tough. Let's take these items before we talk to Dr. Singh again.
Understand? How did you trap me?
Passive security scan. As soon as your transporter cycled, my transporter chief directed you back and shut down the pattern buffer.
I'll answer your questions, but only for as long as it suits me.
Okay, what were you doing here?
Nothing less than reshaping the galaxy. My work is revolutionary. It is light years beyond the pale dreams of mere mortals like yourself. Following in the footsteps of the great Khan Noonien Singh, I have spent my life polishing the genome like the most precious tool. Now I can combine the best traits from a variety of species to create a perfect being. My army of super augments will rule the galaxy. We will have eternal peace. Peace through strength. Oh, it is glorious. I only wish my Khan were here to see the result. I honor your legacy, my Khan.
I wonder if he was part of the original crew that took over the Enterprise all those years ago. Genetic modification is illegal now, however.
I don't recognize the laws of your petty judgmental federation. Oh, you loud, pretty words about morality and diversity and peace. But you fly around in death machines that could obliterate a planet. Talk about personal freedoms, but impose your will on everyone in your grasp. Federation is a collection of tyrants.
Although he does have a point with this, even if it is a bit misconstrued. So why were you working with the Klingons?
It is the curse of every great mind. Research requires resources. Ambassador Bavat was happy to provide me with all the materials and research subjects I needed in exchange for an augment process to make Gorn warriors stronger and faster.
Just the Gorn?
He could have had so much more. I told Bavat that I could perfect the augmentation process and improve the Klingons. But he was loath to experiment on his own people. A pity. Good thing I had no such scruples.
Well, it's good that even Bavat didn't have a notion to experiment on his own people again. So, did you augment any Klingons?
Not as many as I would have wished. They respond oddly to treatment. It's very interesting data. Unfortunately, most of my Klingon subjects broke out of the lab and escaped. They'll create quite the path of destruction on their fruitless quest for a cure. The results will be most illuminating.
I guess it changed how the Klingons respond to threats as well. So what is Bavat planning?
I'm not privy to Bavat's private thoughts. I do know that he asked me to analyze a sample of blood from the most unusual being. 3/4 human, 1/4 Klingon. It was the most interesting genetic profile I'd seen in months. Whoever this Shrol Paris is, I'd like to meet her. Oh, and Bavat kept asking me about time travel. How to do it, what the ramifications were. I'm a genius. That's not my field.
That's fair enough. And what else can you tell me?
I'm bored with this. I'm done answering your questions.
Okay. We'll beam them all up then. That's him and us. And that's Tabin, my Trill, I think he's a engineering officer like Scavron. I'll change him after. That's just how he came. And we'll report to Starfleet.
I never expected you would find actual augment research. Starfleet will keep a close eye on this situation.
Oh, I bet. Just like the close eye you kept on it all along. I'm tempted to go for this Dibernium reinforced body armor, but I think the polyalloy is a bit better overall.
Congratulations, Captain.
Starfleet intelligence needs your help.
Okay, there's Klingons are testing a new weapon in the Omega system. And it's something other than a torpedo. Oh, looks like Ambassador Bovat has got a defector. Oh, and some sort of doomsday weapon. And Lieutenant Van Zyl, who will be pretty important, sounds like, will join us for this mission. We need to first meet in the Donia system. And the defector's name is Kavalk. Okay, that's all the information we need.
Admiral Quinn says you're the right officer for this job.
I'm a pretty good officer, but I don't know if I'm the officer for the job. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that rather long mission. And, thanks for watching.